Good evening, everybody, and welcome in. How's it going tonight? Tonight is going to be a relatively chill night in Star Citizen. We've got some solo mining on the table for anybody that wants to see it. I hope everyone appreciates the stream title. You know, a lot of work and care goes into making those. Yeah, party with mining lasers and rock scanning. That is exactly what it is. So, yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day. Feel free to go ahead and say hi in chat if you're dropping by. We are real close to 50 followers, which is kind of my next big Twitch goal, so super grateful to everybody that has followed so far. Once we hit affiliate, we'll be able to get some cool like channel points and alerts and annoying noises and like double dog emojis on the screen. I don't know. We'll be able to do more stuff, and it should be cool. So, with no further ado, I'm gonna switch the screen over to Star Citizen, and we are gonna start talking about mining. There we go. So tonight we are doing some solo mining in the Prospector, which, if you're in space, is really the only mining ship. There are options for hand mining if you're on a planet with a little like handheld multi-tool thing, and there's a mining vehicle that you can use on a planet, like a ground vehicle called the Rock.
Welcome.
We are not going to do that. We are going to take out this MISC Prospector. It is basically the same as the MISC Freelancer, but converted over to be a mining ship. Hey, Captain Walrus, how's it going? Hey, Super Whatever, how you doing? How's your week been so far? We're more than halfway through it. Isn't that exciting? So yeah, this is the glorious MISC Prospector. Looks a lot like the Freelancer if you've seen that guy. But it's got these little mining bags on the side and a big honkin' laser on the front. Right there. As far as gear that we're taking, we really don't need much. I've got this super fashionable flight suit, and why not? I'll take a pistol. And yeah, we really don't need guns. Normally I would bring a tractor beam, but apparently I didn't think to do that. But especially since like accidents happen in space, you don't want to, when you're going mining, you do not want to bring anything too valuable. Maybe bring a med pen or a med gun. I am very good, Super Whatever. I am glad that I'm not at work anymore today. That is over, because it was a whole day, and I get to play some Star Citizen. So yeah, we've got a standard issue MISC Shoilet with a separate sink, little food dispenser, one-person bed, and this cockpit with super great visibility. Definitely better than a lot of industrial ships in terms of being able to actually see out of it.
You are clear to launch.
Now, I have customized my loadout a little bit, but with recent changes to mining, if you're just getting started in Star Citizen, the initial laser that they give you is actually somewhat adequate now to start with. So we're going to go out here. Now, in the past, before this current patch, I did a lot of asteroid mining, but especially with a Prospector,
Thank you.
I found asteroid mining is kind of a pain, and so I have been mining on planets. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to head on over to ArcCorp, to Walla, and mine. And pretty much any terrestrial planet or moon, any body, is going to have mining deposits. They vary in percentage on like what types of asteroids and what minerals they have. Or, I'm sorry, what type of deposits. If they're on a planet, they're not an asteroid. They kind of vary from planet to planet, but not by more than 1 or 2 percentage points in general. So you could kind of optimize and go to certain ones. There's not that much of a difference. There's a bit of one. Alright. It's just gonna be a little bit to get over to ArcCorp. In order to deposit your minerals, you can't be at the big stations outside the planets. Like, quantum interface is stuck on my minimap. That's uncool. Like, Bygenie Point does not have the capacity to process minerals. Neither do the ones out on, like, Microtech, Crusader, or Hurston that are right outside of them. You've got to go to these Lagrange Point stations, like Arc 1 and Arc L2, HUR-L1 or HUR-L2 outside of Hurston. Any of those that have a station will have a refining, whatever they call it, refinery, mining center, something like that. And they will let you deposit minerals and actually make money from mining. But we are on the way now to go pick the minerals up. And all I upgraded on this ship is I upgraded the quantum drive a little bit. And I upgraded the mining laser to a different mining laser that gives me more power, but makes it a little harder to control. Because that's fun. And it lets me break apart bigger rocks at the expense of being a little less user-friendly, but it's fine. We like to live a little dangerously. So we are gonna pull up to Walla. And I kind of picked an arbitrary point. If we have bad light, we are gonna find another spot. Because mining in the dark sucks. And I don't think anybody wants to watch me crash into the ground at a high rate of speed. And I have to claim my ship and go back and do stuff. Okay, it looks dark here. Let's find another location. If it's dark here, then hopefully the other side of the planet, roughly, will have some light. So we're gonna do that. And if you are just dropping in, welcome. We are just getting started tonight. We are doing some solo mining in Star Citizen with the Prospector. The Prospector is currently available for purchase. It's available for purchase all the time. as a real money pledge, but it's also available for purchase in-game with in-game money, and it is not excessively expensive. It's less than 1,000,000 credits. Alright, so we have light. We've got a lot of light. This is kind of bright, but we'll be okay. I'm gonna get closer to the ground, and usually when I'm doing this, I've got this little compass on my HUD, and I pick a direction, and I go. And I start scanning. If you're on mouse and keyboard, scan is tab. I've got it mapped to a button on my joystick. But I pick one direction to go, because if I try to, like, circle, I will just confuse myself and start going in circles and, like, looking at the same rocks over and over again. So this thing in front of me that looks like it's got the little, like, cube icon. It says 3,000 meters away. That is likely a rock. So as I get close, it resolves into this, like, very small icon you can barely see, and then it resolves into this rock-looking thing. And we're gonna get up close to it, and I've switched into scanning mode, so I can't shoot guns, but if I hold left-click and hold down on this rock, it will scan it. Now, the scanning can be a bit persnickety. Sometimes it takes a few tries, where you have to, like, click the exact right spot on the rock. Another thing that sometimes seems to work is switching out of scanning mode and back in. Like that. And, like, you shoot the rock. They make mining less difficult. They made it better than it was before the start of patch 3.19, which we're on right now. So this one has, what is this, 8,900 mass? Yeah, I can break, can I break this? Yeah, I can break this. So I am going to take this one. What I'm looking for mostly, there's all these different minerals, and I'm looking for Bexalite, gold, or Terranite are best, but beryl is like second tier. And there's a lot of beryl on this moon. The top tier mineral, if I can find it, is Quantanium. But they made that super rare in this most recent patch. So it's not really something you specifically go out and look for necessarily. It's kind of a cool bonus if you find it. Hey, Asenarev, how's it going? Hope your week has been good so far. So what I'm going to do here is start shooting this with my mining laser. Yeah, so that can happen. Yeah, we burned through 5 attachments and exploded ourselves. It was kind of entertaining, but kind of maddening, and we did die badly and lost a lot of money in parts, because the rocks had this explosion radius that was way too big, and if you did it wrong at all, it would blow up and kill you. What I'm trying to do is get that green bar up, and then I want to hold it in this green section here. So I'm going to do that by adjusting the intensity of the laser, because I don't want to go into the red section. The red section up at the top, if I fill that up before I fill up the green section, or even if I fill it up a little bit, it'll make the rock explode when I break it. Which, depending on how red I get it, could be... like, I could just lose some of the minerals, or they could shoot a little further away, or I could die. Or break parts off my ship. But yeah, Sue, they definitely made it less likely for... like, the explosion radius is no longer just horrible every time, and breaks parts off your ship. Unless you do it exactly the way it wants. So what I'm doing here, because this rock wasn't super great, I am scanning the different pieces that broke, because I know there's barrel here somewhere, and so this little piece is 100% barrel. So that's kind of worth taking. Anything that isn't a high percentage of barrel, I'm just going to leave behind. So this is a solo ship. There are some ways that you can play with other people with a Prospector, other than just having someone like sit in the bathroom and hang out. You can have a friend in any kind of ship just scout ahead and look for good rocks with high percentages of good minerals that are within the mass range that you're able to break. So that one's less than 20% barrel and the rest is tungsten. We're going to leave it. This one is a lot of tungsten. Yeah, that one's a lot of inert materials. We'll move on. Gonna put our mining laser away. And go find some more rocks. The Prospector does not have a lot of storage capacity, so you kind of have to be a little more choosy than when you're working with a bigger mining ship. Yeah, they're... What exploration ships? Pretty much if you're going to have somebody scout ahead, all the radars are the same. Eventually there are ships that are supposed to fill that role, and they will be especially good for exploration, which will be a fun game mechanic, but it does not work that way yet. So if somebody is going to go ahead and scout for rocks for you, they may as well just fly something fast. So, like, a Gladius is as good as... I mean, really any light fighter is going to be just fine. Or any smaller ship. Alright, so one helpful trick, especially when scanning is being difficult. If you switch to the mining laser, it will also scan the rocks, and it seems to do it a little more easily. So this is a pretty big patch of like 6 rocks. And hopefully, 1 or 2 of them will have good minerals. We're looking for something better than barrel. Barrel. Corindian, welcome in. This is live. So we do... On Wednesdays, I do a stream kind of exploring different careers in Star Citizen, with an emphasis on answering questions if new players or players new to that part of the game have any. So tonight we are doing solo mining. And also, Corindian, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Do you mine in Star Citizen, or... do you normally do other things? Nope, we're trying to go east. Here. So there was nothing really worth it in that patch of rocks. We're gonna move on. Yeah, I've messed around with 3.20 a little bit. Not a ton. I mean, the rock looked nice, a Cinerev, but it wasn't. It was a lying rock, and it should be shamed for its performance. Okay. Yeah, no, Star Citizen, I mean, it's still an alpha. You know, if you've followed the game at all, you're aware of the issues and stuff, and the fact that there's still a good amount of bugs, but I love it. I think that there's enough playable content to have fun with. and that it's especially a fun game for space shenanigans with friends. Like, it really shines to play with other people, and that's what we do on Saturday nights normally. We play with a crew, and generally play with a crew, and just kind of get into nonsense. So these little icons that look like, you know, the gemstone-looking thing, these are rocks that you can only mine with a ground vehicle. So they are worthless to us. Man, No Man's Sky. I have played some since they, like, greatly improved it. It's a game I go back to, like, every year and a half or so. It's really cool. And it's definitely a cool development story of a game that, you know, had so many issues at launch, and they did such a good job. More ground rocks. They did such a good job building it to the game that it was actually advertised as. Also, Corinthian, if you have any questions about Star Citizen, feel free to fire them off. A lot of us have played a decent amount, and that's what we're here for. I haven't played the newest. I saw some people streaming the newest No Man's Sky expansion. Apparently they added, like, magic sticks or something. I don't know. I didn't watch it that long, and it was late at night, so I'm not a super reliable narrator there. More of a focus on... Yeah, it is some super mid-tier rock hunting, because I haven't even mined that much in the current patch, so I am an okay miner. I used to have it pretty well figured out. I'm not as up-to-date on the meta now, but I can still do it. How do I think it compares to Star Citizen? Definitely less of a multiplayer focus in what they're building towards, and I think that the vehicle levels of detail and, like, the amount of detail in, like, the flight model, like how flying the ships feels, is way different. No Man's Sky, you know, it definitely has a lot of crafting, it has the whole infinite universe that is cool, but I feel like flying the ships in Star Citizen, just the experience of flying around, is better than No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a bit arcadey in that aspect. But they're two very different games. Like, one of them is a lot more about crafting, you know, and like a different way of, like, teching up through a tech tree. Whereas Star Citizen is also, like, it's a lot more skill-based. You know, somebody could have a more expensive ship, and those were terrible rocks. Right, yeah. Which, Star Citizen has that too. You can... I mean, it does have, like, the warp travel, the quantum travel, which No Man's Sky has also. But it's cool that I could just angle myself up and fly out of atmosphere. And if there were a you know, like a station in orbit around this planet, I could just take myself up there. I think these are hand-mineable rocks. Gonna check. I don't know if they added it in No Man's Sky, but I think another cool thing Star Citizen does that No Man's Sky does not is multi-crewed spaceships. Yeah, those are hand-mineable rocks. Star Citizen has some really cool multi-crewed ships, some of which you can't even really tap into the potential of the ship without playing with other humans. And that isn't to say that they gate it off to where, you know, if you're not playing with people, you just can't play the game. Because there's plenty of capable ships that can be flown solo. But it's neat that they have things like, you know, ships with turrets or ships that you can detach snub fighters from, where you kind of have to bring a crew. Alright, so this is another pretty good-sized patch of rocks. And it has not been in development since 1999. It's been in it's been in development a long time. It's been in development since about 2012. Don't quote me on that, because I backed the Kickstarter for Star Citizen in 2012. Alright, so that has Bexelite, and that is breakable. 2000. I mean, you're young, so basically anything before 2015, those are just the those are the before 4 times. We don't even know what happened then. The elders speak of them. But no, I backed Star Citizen in 2012, and I logged on to check on the progress of the development like one time, or a couple times, in like 2015, 2016. And it just made me sad, because they really didn't have a lot. And so I put it down, and I didn't pick it back up until the beginning of this year-ish. Caffeine, how's it going tonight? Hope your week is going well. Alright, let's go back to that one halfway decent rock. Or, as a Cinerev pointed out, boulder. I don't know, I think Sue might be qualified to tell us if it's a boulder or a rock. He is the resident geology expert, because somebody's gotta be. Gosh, it feels like it wants you to get so close to be in optimal range, which is a little thing on my... Did you start a new job, Caffeine? Or are you just doing different stuff at the same job? Yeah, Skyrim in space. I think it could be cool. A lot of people are comparing it to Star Citizen, and... Ah, well, congratulations, Caffeine. That's awesome. We'll have to talk about it sometime. And there's that red zone. So, one thing they added in the latest patch is... Yeah, so that destroyed some of the rock. Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's really cool. 70% more. Can't be mad about that. One thing they added in the latest patch is a minimum power to lasers. So you used to be able to set your mining laser down to like 1% and just trickle. You can't anymore. And what makes it spicy is that the more powerful lasers that can break better rocks generally have a higher minimum power. So it can make it, hard. Because instead of just going down to 1%, you have to, like, flick your laser on and off. But we are just gonna grab... The Corundum is really not worth anything. This rock was Bexelite and Corundum, I believe, so... Anything that doesn't have a good percentage of Bexelite, we are just going to leave behind. You want a spicy rock? I want a spicy rock also. That's called Quantanium. And that is... The current mining meta is... Garbage? That's only 7% Bexelite, so we don't want it. So, jalapenos. You know, that's actually a thing in... I will take that. In China, there is a dish in some places, and I think it's more of a novelty than anything else, where they stir-fry smooth rocks with, like, a spicy sauce, and you just suck on your spicy rocks, and then, like, spit out the rocks once you're out of sauce. And, yeah, fried stones, yeah. But anyway, the spicy rocks, Quantanium, in the last patch, you pretty much only ever looked for Quantanium, and everything else was garbage. Yeah, I mean, they keep you regular. They kind of scrub out your insides when you eat the whole rock. In this patch, Quantanium is super rare, but it's worth about 3 times as much as it used to be. And it's hard to find specifically. It's kind of just something that you stumble upon while you're looking for other stuff. And the twist to mining Quantanium is that once you put it in your ship, you have 15 minutes before it explodes, because it is unstable. So you've kind of got to do a little more planning, because if you have Quantanium on board, you have a... Yes, that word that I'm not going to try to say. Once you have Quantanium on board, you've got like a time limit to get back to the station before your ship goes kaboom. Which, in the last patch when we did a lot of mining, because we kind of had the meta... We got into a routine, and I would take out the multi-crew mining ship, and we did a lot of Quantanium, and made a lot of good money. Also, if you're just stopping by, welcome in. We are doing some solo mining in Star Citizen tonight. You can't put a surprise rock on someone else's ship, but that would be awesome. I don't know if you've ever seen Sea of Thieves, a Cinerev, but that sounds like something you would do in that game. Sea of Thieves is like a multi-crew... you drive pirate ships around game. And do stuff. And it would probably be my favorite game ever if it wasn't so PvP-centric. Alright. So we're gonna check out these rocks. Granite deposit, Festanite. So yeah, as you can see, I'm, yeah, that's what kills Sea of Thieves for me. Ooh, Terranite, that is worthwhile. I would love a single player or a co-op Sea of Thieves, and I kind of don't understand why they don't make one. Because they've got the code base, like everything's built out for the driving, you know, like going around in boats with your friends and like raising the sails and lowering them and just having fun. But it's built into... What, you got another game like Sea of Thieves that is I know there's a couple out there. There's one that I like the idea of. Oh, that rock is way too chunky for me to... Yeah, Skull and Bones. Okay, that's gold. So if we were flying the big mining ship, the Mole, and we had a crew, that would be a good rock to take. But we're not, and I don't have one, so we're just gonna take this one that has Terranite. That is worthwhile. No, there's a game. I don't know if I think it has multiplayer. That is being worked on by a solo dev. That is, I know I need to mess around with some of those games more. But there's a game called, I think it's called Sail Winds or Trade Winds, and it's made by a solo dev. Oh, too far away. Let me just scoot in here and grab the ranch. Thank you very much. But it's like a hardcore sailing simulator where the physics and the way the ships work is intended to be really accurate, and you just sail your ship around. It's somewhat realistic distances, and buy and sell trade goods and like complete missions, but it's very not combat focused. I think maybe the guy intends to add more combat later, but for now it's just sailing. But it's pretty accurate sailing. Like if your sails get fouled up and you're pointing sail wind, yeah. Well worth a buy just to fart around with for a few hours and support an indie dev who's making a cool thing, in my opinion. But like, it's never gonna have huge mainstream success, although maybe he could make a difficulty that would. Because it legit forces you to sail ships. And so if you get, like, pointed into the wind and your sails aren't in the right place, you can just get dead on the water. And you've got to, like, wiggle your rudder back and forth to get moving again. Which I think is cool. A lot of people probably don't. So I know some of these rocks have a decent amount of Terranite, where I'm just going to sit here and scan them for a minute. And see which ones have the most, just in case I don't have enough space to take all of them. Or all the ones that have decent minerals. Yeah, I mean, it's neat, especially if they get good multiplayer. I could see that being a fun game to play with friends. Especially if, like, one guy's more into... Just imagining me playing it with people, like, I'm more into sailboats than most people I know. Maybe not caffeine. But I'd just be, yelling all this weird stuff in voice comms about tacking and moving the lines around. Right, people love American Truck Simulator, and that's basically American Truck Simulator, well, boats. Okay, this one. 59%, we'll take that. Yeah, people love American Truck Simulator, and... like, that can be a pretty boring game. Granted, I've sunk a fair number of hours into American Truck Simulator. Caffeine, are you seeing, stream quality issues? Sue just told me he might be. But his internet in general might be. Okay, cool. I am gonna fix that here in a second, or try to fix that. I've got something different I'm gonna do. Yeah, I don't like choppy. I would rather have a little bit lower I'm gonna lower the frames per second here in a minute. So that just filled up my cargo. So I am going to get myself out of atmosphere, up to about 2,000 meters. Yeah, I'm just going to have to make some compromises with the quality I want to have until someday I can get fiber or, I don't know, something else. But I'm going to get into quantum before I make any of those changes. So we're full up. So we're going to head back to a station that has a refinery. For me, that's Arc L1. Arc L2 would work just as well and is equidistant. But I've just been staging out of Arc L1 a little bit more, so that's convenient. Alright, 1 second. Switch. Yeah, I saw that they're nerfing whatever they called it, the one build that a lot of people were using, the Jolly Green Giant. Where basically you can reduce instability to nothing. Oh Oh, no, I can't change FPS while I'm playing. Well, let me try this. Yeah, because people were using this weird build on the mole, where basically you would never... You would just get, like, one big green zone. Yeah, exactly. And I think they're planning to nerf that, amongst other things. Nerf that and just make some changes. More of a tuning than the complete rework that happened this patch. Which is awesome. I would kind of hope that, you know, over time they balance some things, because I feel like mining could be a little more lucrative right. Caffeine, did it get a bit less choppy? I cut my bit rate down a little bit. Just cable internet problems over here. What are you guying about, super whatever? Oh no, you're good. You are good. You're probably walking around the house trying to figure out where you're going to put all your stacks of money with your new job. You know, good problems to have. All right. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, like stacks, you know? Like you can make like pillow forts, but you can make money stacks, and the neighborhood kids can come play in them.
Proceed to assigned landing bay.
What else are you gonna do? Put it in banks like a crazy person? That would be silly. A cat castle out of hundos. Yeah, you just go ahead and shred that, kitty. We've got more where it came from. Also, if you are just dropping in, welcome. We are doing some solo mining tonight in Star Citizen. I just got the first load of the evening, and I'm going to drop it off in a refinery.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
So I'm going to hop out of the seat and go store the ship. Little pro gamer tip here: you can exit the ship and climb down the ladder, but if you open the ladder, that gives you the ability to just jump out and not have to wait for the ladder animation, which is nice. So we are going to store the ship so that the refinery can access its inventory. Also, if you happen to find and bring back a load of Quantanium, and that timer's ticking to when your ship explodes, storing the ship stops the timer. So as soon as you store it, you can relax a little bit and take your time going down to the refinery. We're going to go to the station elevator, go down to the refinery, then start processing the ore. It was kind of hard to find the spot where you refine minerals. Come out of the elevator, come across here. I mean, there are signs, but it's really easy to just like wander over into these odd industrial areas that don't have anything you can do, but it lets you wander into them. So this is like a shop where you can buy mining equipment and stuff. and then you go up the stairs next to the shop, and you run into the refinement processing area. And you've got two options here. You can either sell the ore directly to the refinery, and you don't have to wait. Relax, stay a while and listen, and have a double dog. You can sell it directly. So if I sold it directly, I'd get 42,000 credits. It's not horrible, not a great load. I didn't find great minerals this time. Or you can come over here and ask it to process the ore. Now you'll make, depending on which processing method you use, you'll make more money, but you do have to spend a little bit of money to start the processing. You have to wait for it to process, and then when the materials are done, you have to haul them to a market. So there is some risk of getting pirated or attacked. We are just going to start in order. There's a variety of, like, these different methods are, like, this is high speed, moderate cost, low yield. You know, high speed, high cost, moderate yield. Yeah, there's a lot of methods available, and ultimately we don't care, because there's a best method, which, unless you really want things faster, always do Dynex solventation. And just wait. If you mine a decent amount, you'll always have stuff coming out of the process to haul away. You know, and you'll kind of always be making money, even though you might have to, like, on a big load from a mole, you might have to wait 2 or 3 days. But that's fine. You'll get the money eventually. Also, hey, Rev, how's it going? Yeah, there's Dynex, and then there's, like, one more that's low cost and pretty high yield. Or moderate cost and high yield. But no, Dynex is the way to go. Alright, so we are going to head back. I could have bought a cruise while I was there. Kind of need one, but I think we'll live. Well, I appreciate you popping in. We are doing some solo mining tonight. Real chill.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval.
Now you can solo mine in the multi-crew mining ship, but it is a little more complicated.
Vehicle selected. Your vehicle
And
has been delivered.
it's a little less accessible for a new player because whether you pledge it or whether you buy it in game, the mole is significantly, like, several times more expensive. Yeah, they should vary the processing a little bit more, but I think that's going to come as they work on the refining system, probably. Because eventually, these saddlebag things on the side of the ship will be easily detachable. And you'll be able to, like, swap them out with other ones and have cargo ships drive them back for you. Or have a ship specifically built to refine the ores for you. Asinerev, you are going to get all your dreams coming true because we are about to go find more rocks. That is where we're going now. Yeah, it'll be... I like their goal of where they want to take mining. Because, you know, right now you've got, like, mining ships. And they go back and forth to refineries, drop off the minerals. Rinse, wash, and repeat. Eventually, you're going to have mining ships. Cargo ships can move their saddlebags around. Technically, they can do it now, but it's kind of in a hacky way. I don't think it's really fully implemented. And then you'll have refining ships that can process the ore on site, and then you could have other cargo ships that take that refined ore and go sell it. Alright, so we are going to set a course back to... Let's switch it up. We'll go to Lyria this time.
Thank you, and please visit again.
And we are on the way. Run number 2. Yeah, I mean, they're implementing those, but I think a lot of the actual cargo improvements are going to come when they implement, like, the cargo elevators. Which I'm excited about. Like, the cargo elevators just sound cool. Like, if I have a bunch of valuable materials, I can just, like, put them in the elevator and store actual SU boxes in the station inventory until I'm ready to bring a big ship like a C2 or a Caterpillar with a couple escorts and, like, come pick up all the stuff. It'll be neat. No parking in the red zone. Yeah, I've seen some of that on 320, on some, like, watching some YouTube videos and a couple people streaming it. I am not blessed enough to be given access to the Hull C in PTU right now. They might change that as it gets closer to launch, so more people can test it out. But for now, I can only watch the cool kids play with their Hull Cs. Yeah, ship tractor beams are going to be really neat. But that's definitely not coming out on 3.20.0. Maybe on, like, a 3.20.x patch. Or, if Pyro isn't ready, they'll make a 3.21 and put stuff in there. The cool thing about version numbers is you can just expand them infinitely. Yeah, it might. I mean, that would be cool. I'm not... Yes, the 3.15. I think the 315 is supposed to have a smaller ship tractor beam. I don't know, I don't get my hopes up too much for any single patch. I'd rather, you know, kind of like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Yeah, and the whole C's supposed to have 4 ship-mounted tractor beams. It's kind of cool. I think there's like one on top. It's like in a ring around the ship to move its cargo around. Hey, your origin ship has always been useful. You can fly it from your spawn point up to the station to meet your friends and fly in their more useful ships. Yeah, exactly. Besides looking like the, I don't know, space cargo Miata. I don't know what origin ships look like. Yeah, the Cat's supposed to have a tractor beam. I think it's cool that the Cutlass has a tractor beam. Like, that could be really useful. For legitimate purposes, it would be... it's dark here. We're not gonna mine here. I ain't got time in my life to mine in the dark. Other side of the planet. But I could see the Cutlass's tractor beam being useful for, like, you know, what I use the Cutlass a lot for is I'll take out the Vulture and a Cutlass with a friend and have the Cutlass store the scrap that the Vulture produces, but if there's a tractor beam, then maybe that Cutlass pilot could pilot. They're not all pirates. The Cutlass pilot could just sit in the tractor beam seat and, like, manage the boxes. And all of that kind of builds up to the Argo SRV, which I am super excited about, because the Argo SRV will be a space tow truck. They've teased about having tractor beams prevent people from getting away, or being able to, like, the bigger two-handed tractor beam working on actual humans. But I'm not sure how serious they are about that, or if that's just something that they're, like, in-game making pretty graphics team just made for one of the demos as, like, hey, we think this would be cool, and it would be cool, but there's no guarantee they actually implement that to work that way. I know that the current plan, or I think what I've seen them talk about for the Argo SRV, which is like the tow truck ship that's supposed to be coming out, is that it'll be kind of like salvaging, in that the other person's shields have to be down for it to work. Alright. Felsic deposits. Barrel, that rock is way too big for me, though. You're not wrong. Like it would... Okay, barrel... That one says it's impossible, but that might be a lie. I think if we believe in ourselves, we might have been able to break that one, but we're going to keep looking. Laranite. So this one, some of these little rocks that start out with the purple border. You know, I'm just a solo miner out here in the world who is working with the ship he has. That's barrel. You can definitely do more with the multi-crew ship. With the mole, but that kind of requires a bit more coordination, and it also can be a pain to deal with the mole on planets. Alright, that rock's too big, I can't break it, so I'm going to take this one. Got some barrel. It's going to make me get painfully close. I think there was barrel on 37% barrel. That one. It says it's impossible. Chuck, that would be a very The Expanse move right there. This rock says it's impossible. We'll try. Oh, wrong button. Turn mining mode back on. There we go. Yeah, unloading is... just the logistics of unloading is a pain. Alright, so we have a surge module, and we are gonna... Come on. There we go. So that is a... Yeah, I thought about bringing some. I don't know about that. See if using one more will get it up enough that we can maintain it. I don't think so. Really? That'd be a weird way for that to work. Yeah, this rock's a pain. Heck it. You're dead to me, rock. I'm going to go find more rocks to be friends with. Maybe a gadget plus the surge. So the gadgets are things you bring that you, like, get out of your ship and slap them on the rock. And sometimes they can make... That just seems like something's very wrong if they require you to, like, wiggle the power around, and that's helpful at all. But it wouldn't surprise me. The Prospector can absolutely do quantum mining. I think it's a little less capable as a solo quantum miner than it was before, just because Quantanium is so rare. If I were really looking for Quantanium, I'd take a mole, and I would bring like 2 friends with small ships and have them go out and look for rocks. And once they scouted the rocks, then I would bring the mole to break the rocks. So that way, you know, we could get like the biggest Quantanium rock possible rather than get a couple small ones. Because if you bring 2 friends in inexpensive ships, when one person, you've got 3 people now looking for rocks, when one person finds a good rock, everybody converges on that rock, everybody gets in the mole, like one big happy family. Oh yeah, or you could just take 3 prospectors. But then everybody's got to have prospectors. But yeah, we've used the, like, you know, some of the people who would be in the mole are just out in ships scouting around. And then whoever finds the good rock, we just meet on them. And break it with the mole. Prospects of that are slim. Boo! Rev loves his puns. Jeez. We just forgot to put very many minerals on this planet, apparently. Oh yeah, definitely. You could work up to it. And honestly, if you do risky salvage missions, it isn't that hard to get there. That planet doesn't rock. No, it does not rock. But the, oh no, this isn't... The rocks look cooler on the other planet, too. So it doesn't even have that as a redeeming factor. Okay, those are only vehicle mineable rocks, which are ground vehicle. Confusingly enough, the ground vehicle that mines those rocks is called the Rock, R-O-C. I don't know, I didn't make the names for things. I can't be held responsible for them. Bueller? Bueller? Seem to have reached a somewhat empty stretch of planet. Probably only because the server is getting ready to give me something really nice. That's what I'm gonna go with. There we go. There's something. We'll check it out. Better than the nothing I've been... Yeah, or about to 30k. Fingers crossed. 30k recovery seems to be getting... Or not like the 30k recovery where your ship gets stored. But the 30k recovery where the server will go down to B-Win and then, like, think about its life and figure it out, has gotten... Like, there's definitely been some improvements made to it, maybe even in 3.20, because there's been... I've seen a lot of people hit that point where everything gets weird, doors won't open, the server takes a little bit, and then decides to start operating again. Alright, so that's a decent rock. It's way too big. That one on the right had some barrel. Yeah, I mean, even in, like, 3.20, since they started releasing it... Oh, gold. Okay. And that one I don't even have to break. Never be too big. It can be too big. I just can't handle it by myself. Alright, so that's got barrel, so we're going to grab this gold, and then we're going to grab the two that have barrel. It's almost impossible for stability to decrease. Some days, you are right. And the concerning thing is the whole C, because it, like, puts so much load on the server. You've got all those containers spawning in at once. Don't put that voodoo on me, Ricky Bobby. Oh, we need to be in fracture mode. Boop. So this is one where I may have to toggle the laser on and off. Loads, too many loads. Because my minimum laser power is enough to, if I just left it on, blow me up. So we're just gonna finesse it and keep it in the green zone. So that is, and that's kind of annoyingly all broke on top of each other. Can't really get to some of it. Maybe as we start extracting some of these, we'll remove it. These? What is this bottom piece? Please be barrel. You are barrel. Yeah, that would be... It would be super cool to be able to grab the pieces with a tractor beam. Hey, you guys being inappropriate in chat, I will turn this Prospector around. And we will not stop at McDonald's, and no one will get Happy Meals. Oh. That's terrible, a center rev. Alright, and that one is... Alright, Dad. It was great. What was it? The other week when I went to, Minneapolis with some... Not Minneapolis. St. Louis with some friends to go to a concert. I was the one driving because I was the one who had the bigger vehicle. EK is not bigger than McDonald's. Better than McDonald's. The fries at McDonald's are better. Oh. K is better. Well, I don't know, Rev. I mean, I'm not saying that McDonald's is great. I'm just saying if I'm on a road trip and I'm gonna stop somewhere, I'm gonna stop at McDonald's before Burger King. Even though I'd rather have, like, Runza or Chick-fil-A or a number of other things. I mean, what is your preferred fast food, then? Well, we don't all have Buc-ee's everywhere, Sue. It's just not an option. Some of us are sad northerners. Yeah, Arby's is better too. You get the curly fries at Arby's. But anyway, going back to being called Dad and turning the vehicle around, I was driving to St. Louis, and I got selected to drive because I had the better road trip vehicle, and I felt like a dad because two of the people who were with us were younger than I am. They were sitting in the back seat talking about mobile games that I don't know anything about that they're really into. And I was like, I'm just the guy driving y'all kids to your music and apparently pulling over to stop at McDonald's. Yeah, Freddy's is better than McDonald's or BK for sure. So these rocks aren't that great, but my cargo's almost full, and I'm not going to waste the time looking for another one, so I'm just going to take anything that has a little bit of barrel and get out of here. And we are going to head back to the station and put this in the refinery and see what it's worth. So you can kind of get a measure for how much it's going to be worth by looking at what they'll offer to pay you before it's refined. Usually once you refine it, it's worth about double that, roughly. It's at least good enough to estimate. I don't know, we might try some asteroid mining next, because we have not had spectacular luck with planet-based mining. It has been very mid. No, I do like Freddy's better than the rest. The problem with Freddy's is the ice cream is so good that I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get lunch. And then I also end up buying, you know, this like 1,000-calorie bomb of ice cream that I really did not need. But it's delicious. But not for me right now, because I'm trying to get back on the low-carb train and be responsible. Go... Don't let your dreams be dreams. Just do it. Go get yourself some ice cream. I believe in you. What is it? I had meatballs and cheese for dinner today. Okay, that's fair. Well, you could... I mean, it would be a financially irresponsible decision, but you could have someone deliver ice cream to you. I've been delivering Uber Eats recently, and you do get a decent number of people who are... Like, I'll look at their order. Ooh, Taco Bell's on the way? Nice. Grubhub, or... Oh, what's the other one? There's one that's like only, it's like convenience store food. It's like everything that a good convenience store would have, but they deliver it to you. And it's not like Uber Eats or Grubhub or something where they're delivering it from other places. I can't think of the name. But anyway, yeah. They deliver, and they'll deliver like Ben & Jerry's and good stuff. It's overpriced like all of them are, but... But no, I've been delivering for Uber Eats recently, and I get a lot of orders where I'm like, "Sir, you are clearly baked putting in this order."
Thank you, and please visit again.
Okay, so let's talk about ice cream delivery. Also, Melkor, welcome in. Thanks for dropping by. Hope you're having a good week so far. So I've done some ice cream deliveries while I'm doing Uber Eats, and it drives me nuts because, first of all, some of them are, like, too far away. I'm like, you shouldn't have let this person order this ice cream at this distance. This was irresponsible of you. You money-grubbing venture capitalist bastards. But also, sometimes they'll give you, like, 2 orders at once. So they'll have you've been here the whole time. Plot twist. Sometimes they'll have you, like, pick up ice cream, and then go to another restaurant, pick something else up, deliver the non-ice cream thing first, and then deliver the ice cream. I always feel badly about that. Because it's like, here, sir or ma'am, here is your ice cream that is, you know, like, no longer as good as it should have been. Which, granted, the customer on the other end can order it, like, priority, where they won't combine it with another order, but that's like $3 or $5. Although, I guess you could always just, like, put it in the freezer for 5 to 10 minutes and firm it back up. Yeah, and sometimes you get those delivery drivers that just aren't efficient and take forever. Like, either they don't care, or they're making another stop, or they're trying to, like, juggle multiple app deliveries at one time. Which never goes well. I've had people drive so far out of the way. Where it's obvious that they're either, like, going home or stopping somewhere. Well, I'm a good Uber Eats driver, so I do have a cooler for cool things, a hot bag for hot things, because I don't really want to stuff, like, ice cream into the container that I just put somebody's Chinese food in and, like, have it mingle the scents, and I have a pizza bag. Okay, so that's 27,000 in that console, so we're probably going to make about 60 once we find it. Yeah, I have, like, separate, soft-sided bags. Ooh, root beer floats sound good. And also make me think, once again, of Freddy's. Put that order in. Boom. Done. Also, if you walk into restaurants with the soft-sided cooler, then it's, like, obvious that you're a delivery driver, and sometimes they'll acknowledge you a little faster. Although sometimes they're butts about it, either way. They will just ignore you. Hello. Like, some restaurants are really rude to delivery drivers. I don't understand why. Like, hey, I'm making you money just like the other customers, and I'm not taking up table space.
Welcome.
Just
to the
be
ASOP
cool.
Vehicle retrieval system.
Alright, so now we are going to go asteroid mining.
Vehicle selected. Your vehicle
Just to
has
switch it
been
up and see if we hit some better luck. This is the second... This station, I've just saw walk by 3 people. Yeah, no tips, though. Which kind of stinks. These are the problems with a tip-based service economy. Right, and the waitstaff are just like, we don't care. But generally, if I'm, like, polite to them and mindful of the space I'm taking up, etc., while I'm waiting, they will be polite to me.
Clear to launch.
You do, yeah, driving for Uber, I do run into a lot of restaurants that I didn't know existed, which is kind of fun. Yeah, and that's how the apps get you too, with like the Uber Eats and whatnot. Is if people don't tip, you pretty much don't make money. All right, so we are going to go to the Aaron Halo, which is actually an asteroid belt just outside of Crusader's orbit in this system. I'd have to think on that. There's definitely things I didn't know were there that, like... Or, like, I didn't know, like, oh, you've got a location here, too. So, to get to the Aaron Halo, because it's not marked on the map, you have to be on one side of it, navigate to the other side of it, and then drop out of Quantum at the right time. And that basically requires the use of a third-party resource or website. But if you look up, like, Star Citizen Aaron Halo Belt Calculator, you'll find several sites that do just that. So that is where we're headed. The Aaron Halo used to have a really good proportion of Quantanium. Now it's a little higher than some other spots in the current patch, but just by like 1 percentage point. It's not drastically better. The real advantage of the Aaron Halo, depending on, you know, what the server's like and if there are jerks about, is that because there's no point of interest on the map to navigate to it, you never really run into other people there. So it's, you never have to worry about weird encounters with people that might gank you. I don't know if there's, like, any really specific places I found doing Uber, but the funniest one that I ever got was, I've done a couple orders where I go to Walgreens and, like, buy the stuff for people and then bring it to them. I had one where the only thing they wanted was a at-home marijuana urine test. That made me chuckle. And then I had one late at night on a Friday night where they wanted me to go to Walgreens and they wanted 1 bag of gummy bears, 1 bag of sour gummy bears, 1 thing of chocolate. It was like 1 of each kind of snack. It was like, you have definitely indulged tonight, and you are making good choices not driving around. Kudos to you. 3,500. Let's go. Exactly. Yeah, they wanted, like, 1 thing of Pringles, 1 thing of Cheez-Its, 1 thing of, like... And it was, like, 7 items, but it was all different snack foods. I need to tone my speed down a little bit, because I am no longer in atmosphere, and it's real easy to just blow past stuff. Also, if you are just dropping in, we are doing some solo mining tonight in Star Citizen. Each Wednesday, we kind of do a stream that highlights different careers in Star Citizen, with a focus on, you know, being friendly to new players. If you've got any questions, feel free to say hi or ask. Rev, you have a great night. Thanks for dropping by. So we've got 3 rocks in this cluster. Let's see what they have. Okay. That would be a fantastic rock if it wasn't 57,000 mass. That would be a lot of gold. This is the sadness you live with as a solo miner. 3rd rock go. There it is. What are you? Oh, copper. I thought there was missing one. 40, 203, okay. Ah. Copper. Okay, there were 2 that were mostly worth copper. And then 1. One really big one. Way outside of my capacity. So, we'll move on. So we're looking for something with a... When you look at it in scanning mode, it's going to give you an RS signature. And we're looking for a relatively higher one because that means there's multiple rocks. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're good rocks, but just having multiple rocks means there's a better chance of there being a good rock inside of a range, size range, that we can break in this ship. Alright, there we go. 5,700, so that should be about 3. Check that out. Empress, how's it going? Thanks for dropping by. Yes, this is the Endless Expanse of Asteroids. We did 2 runs on moons first, and now I am doing some asteroid belt mining, which you are very familiar with. At this point, Empress is basically an asteroid belt scouting expert. She has helped me mole mining many times. Yeah, it's peaceful, especially knowing. Just like knowing that there's no way another player could find you here. You're just really not worried about stuff. Undrum and barrel. That is one that we don't even have to break. We could just scoop it up. Undrum. Right, like if you're just wanting to be chill, it can be quite nice. Agricium. Agricium is supposed to be a tier 2 mineral. I don't have the stats on me for exactly how much it's worth. Let me look real quick at what Agricium is worth while I am eating this asteroid. Oh, Agricium's worth more than Beryl. Ricium, Agricium, I don't know.
Fracturing mode on.
Ooh, that optimal window is real small. That looks spicy. But we're gonna try it. That's too small. I would like to have a gadget to increase the optimal charge window. Yeah, that's kind of... Yeah, Agricium. Or Agricium? No, Agricium. It's an arbitrary linguistic decision we made just now. Sue, is that based on a real mineral name? Is there a right way to say that? Alright. That was some excellent asteroid splitting, if I may say so myself. Little pat on the back for that one. Let's see. Let's look for some high percentage good stuff rocks. Nope. So sometimes when you break bigger rocks, they have to be like sub-broken afterwards. You might have to do that here. And we know that like that last one I looked at is like that because it has a yellow border. Oh sweet, that one does not require any sub-breaking and is all good stuff. We just have to get closer to make it happy. Yeah, but then you're pronouncing it like in the Latin, like, is that the Romanized way to say it? Okay. Or the modern pronunciation. I don't know. Okay, so this one has to be sub-broken. And this is one, so I have the laser down at the bottom setting, and it's still kind of going up. So it's likely that once we get close to the optimal zone, I'll have to turn the laser off in order to manage it. Because as you go further up the meter, it takes less energy to keep it going up further. It's not always constant. It's kind of funky that way. Try to bring it in real nice and easy. Not like that. Let's give it a skosh more. Oh boy. And now the 100% intensity is going down. There we go, now it's going back up.
Warning, power critical. Warning, power critical. Warning, power critical. Under attack.
So I did damage myself a little bit on that one, but yeah, there are multiple Latins. Alright, so that one's garbage material. Oh yeah, it's British English and American English were separated by a common language. But ultimately we win because we have a better blue water navy. So, heck 'em. This, because it's mostly good stuff. Oh yeah, Corundrum is real worthless. I just looked at the price. Yuck. I'm just gonna take this to fill up because I'm so close that there's no point in finding another asteroid.
Warning, storage full.
So we're gonna switch out of mining mode. Now the nice thing, especially if you're doing or trying to find Quantanium, the nice thing about doing it in the Aaron Halo is you always have the same path back to the station, so you really know exactly how much time you have. It makes it easy to plan. Because if you're always going to the same point in the Halo to look for rocks, then you kind of know, like, okay, it takes this long to quantum back, it takes this long to land at the station, so you can kind of plan out your path. Yeah, probably not. They probably, like, I don't know, it's amusing. They use some, like, real minerals, and then they just made up stuff. I mean, Quantanium is definitely not real. Also, if you're just dropping by, welcome. We are doing solo mining in Star Citizen 319. Feel free to say hi, ask any questions you've got. Every Wednesday, we kind of do a stream focused on the different careers in Star Citizen. And tonight is mining. Yeah, most of them are real. And all of them are better than, what is it James Cameron came up with for Avatar? Unobtainium? That one was real rough. Yeah, look at that nice cockpit. So much glass. No ugly struts blocking your view. Pretty good top and bottom views. Not too shabby. So we'll probably do one more run out to the Halo before we call it a night. See if we can find something a little better, just to say we did. Now, if you're hauling Quantanium, and you're in a hurry to store your ship, I do have a special little technique that I use at stations. And that is, instead of requesting a landing bay, if you've got Quantanium and a timer, you can just go to the front of one of the hangar bays and park in front of it, so that you're obstructing the entrance. Ooh, I could have slowed down a little sooner.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
You can go to the front of the hangar bay so that you're blocking the entrance and wait until the authorities impound your ship, and use that to store your ship.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
And when you impound the ship, it gets stored instantly. So you actually get a shorter timer. Okay, so most of them are real. Or at least roughly inspired by real life, even if their distribution in asteroid belts makes no sense. There's actually a very good book, near science fiction book about asteroid mining. If anyone's into science fiction, I highly recommend it. by an author named Daniel Suarez
Landing complete.
called
Pleasant stay.
Delta V. And it is about asteroid mining in the near future. Super cool. Right, where's the nickel? And also, at least, yeah, in the book I was talking about that involved asteroid mining, it was a very large quantity of... Like, everything was much more finely mixed together. You didn't find asteroids with just one or two things. You kind of got a blend of everything, and then you had to, like, separate out the component elements.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
Alright, so we are going to store Prospector. And go throw this in the refinery as well. Now, I do have enough. You know, I've got some orders that are completed in the refinery. I could take those back and sell them, but I'm going to wait to do that. Probably until I have somebody else on with me. And I like to do that on kind of the off hours on a server where it's probably in the off hours, just so I don't get pirated. You know, that is the risk of refining all these materials instead of just instantly selling them, is you are running the risk that when you go to take them to a planet and sell them, you get pirated, and that wasn't a very good run. How much is that? I thought the Agricium was worth more. Am I looking at a bad spreadsheet? Might be. Maybe I just got more corundrum than I thought I did. Corundrum and raw material, or whatever they call them, inert materials. Next, get quote and send it. Cool beans. Got some nice intercom noises coming from the refinery. I like the level. I mean, the level of detail they put into stuff is just cool. We've got, you know, danger, watch for falling material signs. I think somewhere around here there's a... Like, we have one of those "we have not had an accident in X number of days" signs. Stuff that makes sense for industrial setting. Yeah, the detail's just cool. Now, what would also be cool is they have... Like, there's all these stations on moons and planets that are supposed to be mining stations. It would be cool if some of those had the ability to either refine or to give you missions to take unrefined materials. Like, if they don't have refineries on site, then it would be neat if they had missions or the opportunity to buy unrefined materials and, like, take them up to these refinery stations. That would just make sense, wouldn't it? They gotta do something with it. But that might be maybe someday when the economy of Star Citizen is a bit more fleshed out. Alright, so we're gonna head back to the old Prospector and do one more run for the evening. Go into the Halo. Also, if you are just dropping by, welcome. We are doing solo mining. Star Citizen tonight. Feel free to ask any questions. Yeah, mining missions are coming, but they're kind of like the salvage missions. They don't build a new mechanic, they just give you a thing to do. Like, I think they they give you like high percentage asteroids, kind of like the salvage missions give you a pre-broken ship. But either way, it's cool that they're adding missions to it. So it's not all just like DIY. You gotta find stuff on your own.
You are clear to launch. You are clear to launch.
Launch sequence complete.
Doors to open so I don't smash my ship up on the way out. And let's lay in a course. The other thing I like about mining... Yeah, I know I don't have enough fuel to get all the way there. But I'm not going to go all the way there.
Thank you, and please visit again.
The other thing I like about mining is it's relatively low risk in terms of PvP. In the sense that, like, on the way out there, you don't really have anything valuable. And on the way back in, you don't have anything new that you didn't have. Like, you didn't have to spend money to go out there and do it like you do with cargo trading. So if you get ganked, you're not really set back below where you started. Because I do know there are some groups out there who will gank solo prospectors just for fun. Which kind of sucks. Like, I can understand when they do it when I'm bringing cargo back to the station. Or bringing cargo back to sell. Like, that makes sense. That's PvP that has a reason to exist. But when people do it just to blow you up, that gets my goat a little bit. Like, why? What do you get out of that? So I had to look over, checked my handy-dandy map that tells me where we need to stop. So I need to go out of Quantum when I'm about 39,400,000 kilometers away. So it looks like we have a long way to go, but it's not so bad. And I don't really have to worry about that big insufficient fuel. I think I've got plenty to get back. If I don't, then that was on me.
Quantum travel
Oop.
complete.
I dropped out a little late, so I'm like... If you time it perfectly, you'll be in a spot that is denser with more asteroids. I kinda didn't. It should still be good enough. There's kind of like narrower and then more dense portions of the asteroid belt. Alright, so that's just one rock, 1700. Let's look around for some better ones. 1800, 1720, 6800. Go to that one. We'll go see if there's anything good over there. Maybe we will find a perfectly sized Quantanium rock for the Prospector. That is breakable, yet fills the ship entirely. Is it likely? No. Would it be nice if it happened? Yeah, I'd love it. I forgot I was in space for a minute, not in an atmosphere. Came in a little hot there. Get the mining mode out and start scanning these. That rock just visibly looks way too chunky to break down, but I'm going to scan it anyway. Aluminum, barrel, and gold. Okay, that one's okay. I don't think I can break it. see what this one is. This one is... Ooh. 42% gold. Awesome. So that's a good one. We might have found a nice little cluster. Aluminum. Aluminium, if you prefer. I have no interest in that. Festernite. No, thank you. Alright, so we're going to go after this one with gold first. And it says the difficulty to break is easy, but that's kind of a narrow charge window, so we'll have to be at least a little bit careful with it. Uh-oh.
Warning, power critical. Warning, power critical. Warning, power critical. Warning, power critical.
Shield under attack.
Yeah, so I backed away from that one as it blew up because I let it get a little too far into the red. Like a noob. But hopefully there's still a decent amount of gold to extract, and I didn't destroy it all. But yeah, they definitely decreased the damage that the rocks do, because at the beginning of this patch, it was just horrible. That would have either destroyed my ship or destroyed my mining laser. And left me unable to mine anymore tonight, until I went and got it repaired. This one says impossible, but we're gonna give it the old college try. Because sometimes its prediction of what is possible and impossible can be a little inaccurate. So we're going to try using our surge module. Yeah, it's not going to happen on this rock. That's too bad. So the surge module temporarily increases the laser power. Sometimes if you're close to being able to break a rock, but not quite, will, yeah, frequently. You want a scanning interface? Thank you. Alright, so we're going to look for another cluster, because we've got plenty of space. That's just one rock. This is one rock. We'd like to have a spot that has a couple of rocks. So, when I'm on a moon, I like to pick an arbitrary direction and go that way. When I'm in the belt, I like to point myself back towards the station I'll be eventually going to, and go in that direction. Or, like, roughly in that direction, just so that I know I'm not doubling back over myself and wasting time investigating rocks twice. This one should be about 3 rocks. So we're going to check it out. What is that? Oh, hey. What is that? Oh, this is salvage. Okay. If I were in a salvage ship, that would be valuable to me. but I'm not. The salvage icons, when you get closer, look like a little piece of breaking debris, whereas the mineable rocks look like rocks. You can see both of them on my screen. The salvage one's over on the left of the HUD, and the rocks in the middle that I'm pointing towards. Scan these, see what's going on here.
Mining mode on.
3,800 mass, so that should be breakable by me. Barrel and titanium. Mediocre. Rhecium. Then, come on. Barrel and titanium. So let's see. This one is 33% barrel. 8% titanium. Alright, we'll take this one. It's not the best, but the barrel is okay. Better than nothing. It's kind of hard sometimes when mining. You have to make that call to, like, do I keep looking for the perfect rock and just wander around eternally? Or do I just grab something good and start processing it so I can lock in some actual profit from the run? If anything, I lean towards the just find something and get it in your cargo bay, because otherwise you can kind of wander around forever. Just walk the space lanes for eternity, looking for that one perfect rock with all the proportions you want.
Extraction mode on.
Alright. Let's see. 78% barrel. So we're just gonna start with the ones that have the best proportion of barrel to titanium or anything else. 100% barrel definitely counts. I'll take that, thank you very much. I don't know. He wanted to come over and slobber on me since he just drank some water. He wanted to share that experience with me. Alright, that's all titanium, so I believe. %. Come on. Sometimes the rocks like to hide behind each other, so you have to maneuver about. I'm gonna start grabbing everything that has barrel in it. I think we'll be able to fill up from this asteroid. All titanium, that's all titanium. Well, titanium is better than a swift kick in the backside.
Warning. Storage full.
Hurt the dog's feelings by taking his squeaky toy away from him. He can play with that later when I don't have an open mic. Poor little guy. And we are going to head back towards the station.
Engaged.
We'll survive. No. You'll get your toy back in a few minutes, I promise. He thinks he's being abused. Not like he doesn't have 5 other toys sitting... Right. Not like I don't work from home and take him outside, like, 3 to 4 times during my workday to play ball. He lives a pretty easy life. And he got an early dinner tonight, so that he would be less obnoxious while I was streaming. Say hi. Alright. So we are on our way back to Arc L1, and we're going to see what this haul is worth. Hopefully all the space bugs. Bunker's Nose says hi to you as well. He's currently just walking into me, so his, like, head is pushing into my arm. He's a goober. But somebody's gotta be. Yeah, we'll go outside once I get off. You're okay. He has learned to tell from, like, the words that I say and the change in my tone when I'm about to get off a meeting at work or about to get off of, like, Discord or streaming. And so usually, you know, a minute or two before I get done, he'll start getting really excited. Like, is it me? Is it my turn now? Is it time for Bunker? Which is adorable. But it's kind of funny because he'll hear me, like, say bye to someone who's getting off of a Discord call or something, or a Teams call at work when I'm staying on the call, and so he'll get very excited. And it's like, no, I've got another 30 minutes in this meeting, buddy. Like, you're on your own. Alright, let's try not to overshoot the station this time. And, see how much monies we make. I do want to get back onto the, I do have PTU access because I subscribe with the, like, monthly Star Citizen subscription. I do want to check out the PTU a little bit more and, like, look at the new station. It just really bummed me out when I first got into the PTU when I didn't have access to the Hull C to test it. Made me go, well, heck you, I don't want to play on your PTU then. But like I said, I'm hoping that they'll open the Hull C up to everybody for testing eventually. And even if they don't, I should get it as a loaner when it comes to live. Yeah, but I'll get it as a loaner, so, like, that's cool. First world problems. I don't have my spaceship now instead of a couple weeks or a month from now.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Although, I don't know, I'm curious to look at the Hull C. It's definitely not entirely what I was expecting. I don't love the way the mess is laid out, although that's just like a fluff thing. But really, the turret arrangement seems kind of odd, because from what I understand, all of the turrets are on the top of the ship. There's only 2 of them. So it's going to be pretty vulnerable. You know, depending on how high profit the cargo that you'll actually be able to run with it in live Yeah, it sounds like a bit of a pain. It needs some work, but depending on how much profit you make from it, it's something that I'll either not use a lot, or I'll definitely only use with an escort. Alright, go down and put this load in. And then I'll probably come back sometime this weekend and bring a cargo ship and bring a friend to either man turrets or fly with me with a light fighter and haul all this stuff back to ArcCorp. But you gotta be careful with the pirates. Sometimes the players who are pirates will actually dress like an NPC and like sit in these chairs or just stand awkwardly over here and behave like a non-player character so that they can see when you're getting the ore, the refined ore, and putting it in your ship so that they know when to like set the trap and pull you out of quantum. Pretty dastardly. Kind of cool though. Alright, so this is worth 35,000 over there, so I know that once I refine it, it'll be worth somewhere around 70. Which is not too shabby. You know, especially since this is the less advanced, you know, single-person mining ship. Oops, that's not the one. And is really kind of the entry point to mining. Alright, so we got that put in. With that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you very much, everybody, for stopping in. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time. I know tonight was definitely a bit more chill than some of the recent streams, especially the recent PvP Bounties one. But I just like to do a variety of stuff in Star Citizen and let people see it. We will be back Saturday night, and I'm kind of mixed on whether we'll do something high-speed and kind of maybe PvP-ish, or it would kind of make sense to do a mole stream and do some like multi-crew mining now that we've done single-person mining tonight. Might talk with some of my frequent crew members and see what they feel like doing. And when I figure it out, I'll probably say something on Discord and on Twitter as well, if you follow me there. And that will be at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Saturday. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I hope y'all have an excellent evening. I appreciate y'all very much. Take good care of yourselves. Bye.